the wrong way, and Ghana are going the right way.
The last match taught me a lot of lessons, or I learned a lot from that. I could see that we have very good, talented guys sitting, warming the bench. And again, I still don't want to blame the technical guys, but then let's cast our net wider. And then for Ghana, we have a lot of talents. And we should pick right guys. We should avoid getting politics into our football. If the guy deserves to play, let's pick him. If he has the form, he's fit, he is the right person, let's pick him up. We shouldn't consider the fact that maybe he knows someone or he's in contact with some influential person, so that for that reason we have to. No, we should avoid that and rather pick the right guys. We have the talent within Ghana and then outside Ghana.
For me personally, I will never understand the mentality of rooting against a human to fail. And there are some people doing this. I will never understand this. I was raised for my mother to treat the janitor the same as a CEO. But back to you, I think you have a great responsibility, more to, instead of outdooring others, to inspire. A lot of young people are listening to you. And if there are stations where they are insulting people, there are young kids, 6, 7, 8, listening to this, what do you expect for the future? So I think in all, and this doesn't only go to the players, for everybody, we have to develop and change a little bit our mindset. If we can all grow together in the right direction, and then we will be more successful.
They say the morning after is the most painful. After that defeat last night, in which we're all in denial, it has come to the next day where we look back at how to get things back on track. After the Ghana Black Stars suffered that defeat to Uruguay yesterday, eliminated from the group stages of the World Cup. Those are the two views you had there. The first one you had there was from the chairman of Ghanaians based in Qatar here. He was part of those delegation that cleaned the stadium yesterday after the 90 minutes of pulsating football action, which ended up in us being knocked out. And his thoughts are that we should pick the right players. Otto Addo there also stating that it was like he was being targeted to not be successful, and that some insults on radio from some journalists did not help at all. Well, whichever way you see it, we are out of the competition, and it's time to look back and assess where it all got wrong. And simple terms, I did not feel like we should have lost this game at all. We had it in our hands and we bottled it. What next? Who's the next coach of the Black Stars? As Otto Addo has stepped down. We'll listen to some snippets from his press conference as well, and the way forward for Ghana after another group stage elimination in the same year following AFCON embarrassment in January. As usual, subscribe if you have not. Click on the notification bell to get more updates. We'll start off from the Ghana Black Stars game yesterday, which I have to say crumbled after that penalty miss by Andre Ayew. The penalty miss really undid the whole team and our plan. You can talk about Otto Addo not sticking to a starting 11 that had won the previous game, not sticking to a winning formula, bringing in players like Barbara Mani instead of Gideon Mensah. But the truth is that the psychological warfare that preceded this game, especially following the use of Luis Suarez first in the press conference and then captaining his side in this game, we lost it. Yes, Andre Ayew looked to be angry with Suarez when they were exchanging pleasantries. He had gotten under their skin, and it was clear that that warfare we're fighting psychologically had been lost by us. Also, I noticed that most Ghanaians had taken this as a revenge mission. So did some of the players, especially the leader, Andrea Ayew. And talking about Andrea Ayew, it's unfortunate news that his child, his daughter, collapsed after he missed that penalty, and he had to the hospital to see to her. We wish her speedy recovery. In all our criticisms, in all our admonitions towards him, we never wish any bad towards any of his family, and it's quite unfortunate this happened to him. That being said, I think the revenge mission, with billboards scattered all over Accra, I saw the pictures of the billboards in Accra. It was clear that Ghanaians were really hyped up for this game. That was not supposed to be the case for the players. They were supposed to be focused on the task at hand, which was getting all 3 points. Alas, it did not happen, and now we have to look back and talk about it. Mind you, if that penalty had got into the back of the net, there was no way Uruguay were going to win this game. And I can say that for a fact. That psychological warfare, that psychological impact of that very first goal would have given us the push to go on, but it did not happen. And now we have to talk about the way forward for Ghana football, the inquisition into the coaching, and who next to coach us. Well, let's start things off with some of the players who did impress. I like to talk about the positive side of things, and I say players like Kudus Mohammed will leave the happier of most of his other teammates. He impressed at the world stage and showed that he would be a great addition to any club in the world. And that is why I have a problem with people who say and tell me that Thomas Partey not impressing for the Black Stars is not something I should complain about because he's not playing with the same type of players. Kudus Mohammed doesn't have his Ajax teammates with him here, but at least he's showing up and taking control of games. He did that versus Portugal with some stages, also did that versus South Korea and scored 2 goals. He take charge of things. He's a defensive midfielder. We need to feel him. We need to see him influence the game. In the first few minutes of the game versus Uruguay, he was pickpocketed twice. Even before that, Jordan Ayew pickpocket that led to their first goal. So Thomas Partey had not been at it, and he has not been at it throughout this tournament. I don't care what you say, but that is the truth. And sometimes the players need to be told the truth, and that is it. Also talking about the Iñaki Williams situation, it's quite difficult. It goes to show us that you cannot just pick the best talents across the world and push them into the national team and expect them to start delivering. You have to give them time, the integration, use system, getting used to the system, players getting used to his runs and finding him. 2 times I'm hearing that he was a target of the pass from midfield. It's quite shocking and disappointing if that statistic is correct. Another player I would praise also aside Kudus Mohammed is Salis Abdul Samed, who slotted in nicely into the Ghana midfield, was impressive, was composed in that position, and I really loved watching him. Another one is Kamaldeen Sulemana, who came into the second half and was really, really impressive for the Ghana national team. I would say some of the showboating, albeit very nice and beautiful to watch, were not necessary because we're losing, but he showed promise and he was exciting and electric to watch. Kofi Tre, Osman Bukari, these are the guys we should be probably building the team around going forward into the African Cup of Nations qualifiers and the AFCON itself in 2024. So those players impressed, and the others that did not really should step up their game. It has to also go back to the fact that we won a game versus South Korea with Gideon Mensah playing at left back. How Babaraman finished this game at 90 plus minutes seems to surprise me. It goes to show you that what is Otto Addo's starting 11? Throughout his tenure as head coach, what has been his best starting 11? His best system, his best style of play. Chopping and changing the starting 11 also has not helped us throughout this competition. We probably did not have a solid plan in place. Otto, grateful to him for getting us over the Nigerian hurdle. After that, we have high expectations because he made us feel after the Switzerland win, when most of us did not have hope for the Black Stars heading into the World Cup, that something could happen. him talking about the fact that at the press conference today, that where did we think Ghana would be? Probably saying that we should be grateful that he at least got us to Qatar. Yes, but Ghanaians are never really satisfied. You got us to Qatar, we expect to go beyond a certain stage in the competition. We're the lowest ranked team, that's true. But we have talent and we have players that can deliver under the right coaching conditions. He has left his post and he clarified why he is leaving the post. Let's have a listen to Otto at the press conference.
First question about the decision. It's not only my hands. Before I started to work for the GFA, everybody knew, and I said it before, I have a contract with Dortmund and I have to respect that. And even to come here, what was very difficult, and the GFA put a lot of effort to release me. And at the end, they came by themselves to Dortmund to speak to the board. And at the end, they decided to release me for this task. What you have to know is the position I have as a talent coach is very, very crucial in Dortmund. We produce every year a lot of big talents, and it's a very crucial and important position for the club. So normally they wouldn't want to let me go, but because I wanted to help the country, and the GFA went there and had very, very good talks, they released me for 6 months. So it was, and I said it when I started, that I have a contract I could just sign for 6 months. This was the agreement between the GFA and Borussia Dortmund. It was not possible to do longer. And they told me they wouldn't let me to go. But I talked to them that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for me, so they let me go.
So you heard him there. Otto says he's leaving because the agreement between him and Dortmund and the Black Stars is that he would be coming in. As the FA spoke to Dortmund, his focus is as a talent coach for Dortmund, and this is a great job that he is not going to leave the post at. So Otto is set to leave the post, and who should take over as the next coach of the Ghana Black Stars? Well, the obvious candidate is Chris Hughton. Most people have been clamoring for him already, calling Otto a trainer scout, and Chris Hughton, who's a technical advisor, should be the main man in charge. Would Chris Hughton want to take over the helm at such a time? The biggest problem of the Ghana Black Stars has been interference in call-ups. This political interference in the national team is really our bane. Interference in call-ups, which coaches have alluded to. CK Akono, the latest. Otto claims he's the man in charge. Well, we'll see in a couple of years whether he exposes all and tells us whether that is truly the case. But that is a major problem. Would Chris Hughton want to take over at such a time? Well, I would want him to be in charge. I would want a coach that will be given the leeway to do what he wants. Another candidate is Hervé Renard, who did amazingly well with Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, they were knocked out. But Hervé Renard has been on the coaching books for Ghana. Ghana have been looking at him for a while, and they have been considering him for some time now. Will they be able to cough up the amount Hervé Renard and his team have been asking for from the Ghana national team? Well, I should think that should not be a hindrance if it's Hervé Renard we want. And Ghana really have a lot of work to do. We have the talent, we have the players, we have everything in terms of raw materials. We need a chef who can put all these raw materials for us and provide us with a beautiful, sweet cuisine that would excite all of us. Will Chris Hughton be the one? Will Hervé Renard be the one? Or who else do you think should take over the helm right now? For me, the biggest problem has been interference in call-ups. And that, if not settled on and if not stopped, no coach can survive under such conditions. Let me know what you think in the comments box. The Black Stars are out. Round of 16 fixtures have begun. It looks set that Netherlands would be on to the next round, as currently they lead the United States. Your thoughts on the World Cup? We'll still be covering it to the final, following some of the African teams and bringing you pictures from the final of the World Cup here. We're still around. Stick and stay with us. Enjoy the rest of your evening.